Good morning, good morning. We are live. It is Saturday morning here in the Philippines. Welcome everyone from all parts of the globe, north, south, east, and west. We're coming to you from the bedroom studio of Dan and Minnie's Journey, located in the heart of Lahug, Cebu, the Philippines. Welcome, Anime, Larice, Resurrection Juice. Oh, talk about the second coming. Mike K. Joe, Buena Vista Dreaming is in the house. Crystal's Adventure has the chicken eating burger. I would like to thank Angelica Canalada for sharing it out, and all of you that shared it out this morning. Really appreciate it. Hey, do what you can to go to Angelica's channel and watch her live streams so that she can get some watch hours in. I really appreciate it. Tim Deziak is in the house. Tim from Angela City, Pampanga, although he never goes near the walking street. Oh, no, that's not true. Yeah, I've seen his shorts. No, not those shorts, the other shorts from the walking street. Oh, Dan is already full of it this morning. All right, let's fade out that music. How do I do it? All right. Yeah, I got on my fingers, got tangled up in the wires. I'm glad you guys are all here today. I got stuff to talk about. Boy, do I have stuff to talk about. Where's my camera? Oh, there it is. Okay, here I am. Boy, let me get my phone going here so I can see what I'm doing. All right, I still got the dancing Jollibee there. Mike, hey Joe, hello. What do you know? And you can make a whole bunch of stuff rhyme with that. Daisy Lynn, thanks for sharing it out. Who else is here that I missed calling out? Yeah. I think Moelma shared it out this morning. ABCM, I think, is live right now. If you want to go bounce in and out of the channels, that'll be fine by me. Give ABCM some love. Yep. Menge, of course. Menge's here. What would a live stream be without Menge? All right. So anyway, what are we talking about today? Oh, that's right. Today's topic is hate. Yeah, don't celebrate. No. It's the opposite. It's don't hate, celebrate. Yeah, that's where I was going with it. But something came up this morning, and I want to talk about it a little bit. How do you know when somebody is being deceptive and not telling the truth? That caught my attention this morning. When they don't want to be near you, can you tell how people send you signals, either verbal signals or physical signals that let you know that you don't want to be around them. Or better yet, suppose they want to keep it a secret. Suppose they don't really want to verbalize their dislike for you. How would you be able to detect it? This came up this morning when we were sitting over at McDonald's having a cup of coffee. And so I once read a book. It was called Interview and Deception. And mostly it was for people whose jobs were about interviewing clients where you don't have a whole bunch of time and you have to break down their character really, really quickly. And so it kind of gives you ideas about what you should be looking for when you're communicating with someone, right? Talking about eye contact, they're looking up in the sky as being memory recall, the eyes to the side being deception, stuff like that. So the reason why I'm bringing it up, because it's always a good idea to know what these signs are so that you can get an idea of who the person is that you're doing business with. Especially if it's especially helpful if you're interviewing clients, you're in sales. Customers give you tells, and how you improve sales, for example, is they will look around. Salespeople try to endear themselves to you, and they do it through observation. In fact, they have to be keen observers of the human condition. So 20 or 25 years, longer than that, where I've used this experience, or I've learned how to be able to judge a person, not judge them, but tell whether everything was going my way or not, whether I was going to get the sale or not. And a lot of times, how to help a client based on what they were presenting, either face-to-face in person, or what they were verbalizing to me as responses for questions. Open-ended questions is what you want to ask. And so I've oftentimes in interviews, people have said to me, you're very good at extracting information from me. The guys that usually said that were convicted felons. This is the type of interrogation that I received right before they put the cuffs on me. It had a real negative effect or impact on, I guess it was a memory, an impact on them was negative because they had memory recall of the experience before they put the pearly silver bracelets on them, if you will, not pearly, the silver bracelets on them, right before they hauled them away to the guest house. So, but it's important for you to know also, because you could cut through a whole bunch of layers of crap if you were able to tell whether somebody truly wanted to be around you or not, whether they actually wanted to be around you or not. And so I started thinking about, are you able to tell that on YouTube? Can you tell that? And I think it becomes a little bit more difficult to do on YouTube. People will oftentimes show tells. They'll give you tells, but YouTube has a certain amount of acting. There's a certain amount of acting involved. The idea behind YouTube in a lot of cases, even if you're doing product reviews like this, let me introduce you to the dancing robot. One of the things that you want to do is you want to figure out a way to transfer enthusiasm. What inspires you want to inspire people. And so I think that it's more difficult to figure a person out on YouTube because they're role playing in a lot of cases. But there's certain basic things about face-to-face meetings that you can tell whether a person is enjoying your company or not. But oftentimes a lot of times, so I've been mistaken about the way that I've characterized somebody. How's it going, Larry?
Oh, not
For
bad.
example, let me just give you one example of what I'm talking about. Have you been following me, Larry?
I just got on a little bit before I got in your stream.
All right, I'm going to share.
I had to do my laundry today instead of yesterday. I wasn't feeling good yesterday. I didn't go to work.
You just did what I was going to talk about, the crossing of arms. All right, so let's talk about the crossing of arms. So now as I start talking, don't uncross your arms, Larry. Okay, just keep them crossed. All right, so a lot of people know that if you cross your arms, right, that can mean comfort. It can mean that you're cold and you're trying to warm up, especially if you notice that the hands are tucked underneath the armpits, because the armpits is where it's going to be the warmest. You're going to be able to warm up the body really, really quickly. Exactly. So, but there's also the signal where somebody's sending you a signal like, get the F away from me and do it right now. I don't want to have anything to do with you.
They're saying right? They're closed off.
Yeah, they're closed off, right? And it's usually accompanied by a person not making eye contact with you. So they look away. See, they look away like they're looking at a faraway planet, something distant in the sky, and then they have their arms crossed. And so that means like get away. So, but sometimes you can play with it. For example, sometimes if you're out trying to sell somebody a job, right? Like a plumbing job where you're charging some ridiculous price for it, like $2,000 to change a water heater out from some old poor senior citizen. You want to try and get $2,000 out of them, right? So you'll get this reaction, right? You'll get crossed arms, right? And then
don't get to look away.
Yeah. They'll just start shaking their head like this, like, get the hell away from me. But you will point out, you want me, you'll verbalize, oh, you want me to go away. Oh, no, I'm listening to you. And so you can engage them still, even when they're in that, in that mode where they're trying to deflect you or trying to get you to get away from them. And so there are different things that come in really, really handy if you know what to look for and if you know what to listen for. As a salesperson back in my one of my careers, where I was selling very expensive equipment, capital equipment, very expensive, $20,000 and above, that happened a lot, and you sort of have to just kind of like, don't hear it. You never hear the no or acknowledge the no response. And if you're a social worker, like, the kind of work that I did working with convicted felons for the last 25 years of my life, you learn to deal with this and different aspects of those physical and verbal signals that they're sending your way. Of course, very, very few. Now, if you watch crime shows on TV and stuff like that, they will tend to make you think that you're going to run into these guys that know exactly what you're doing or how you're trying to circumvent them not wanting to talk to you or tell you what occurred. People think that by watching those crime shows that people are getting better and better and better at recognizing and then being able to deflect certain questions. I'm talking about the criminals themselves, but that actually isn't true in my experience anyway. I would say that maybe 1 in 100 people, 1 in 100 convicted felons would sit there and just start mirroring me, turning it back on me. I hit my mic. So they're turning it back on me, and doing that back to me. Dan, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? They would reflect it back.
Talk to the hand.
So, yeah. And so you'd think that with all the information that's floating out there, all these crime shows and things, that people would get a handle on, what the interview is trying to extract, the information that they need in order to make decisions about how they could help you. In my case, it was help you. I'd have to listen a little bit, but you have to break it down very, very quickly. And so if you don't have a half an hour to spend with each client, you got them backed up 20 deep, you have to get through in a day. You have to break it down really, really fast, and they usually fall into, I don't mean to demean anybody by saying this, but I found there are certain patterns of people. I'm talking about patterns of behavior and patterns of circumstance that you tend to see, modalities, if you want to call them that you'll see over and over again. And this is a good thing from the perspective of the interviewer, who can, because it gave me an opportunity to break it down really quickly. Well, actually, Mike is saying something like, "What's Mike K. Joe saying?"
Dan,
I
I look
cross
away
my
when
I
talking to
cross my
you
arms
because
to
I'm
hide
picking
my
up
fat
those.
belly. Oh yeah. So listen, he's having he's having fun with this, right? So anyway, the thing is, but a fat belly can actually become your ally, right? A fat belly or physical thing that you have going on, uh, something that you have in common with someone else, actually becomes an asset as opposed to a liability. And so there are different things that you can do. For example, if you guys have not learned this about me, I'm going to verbalize it so you get it. I don't really see roadblocks in life that often. In other words, I never, when a roadblock is put in front of me, I don't necessarily see opportunity all the time, but I don't oftentimes see the roadblock. See, and I think that has a lot to do with the types of jobs that I've had and my experience in life. I oftentimes don't see the roadblock. I'm not going to sit here and say to you that the roadblock is the opportunity, like a lot of those people that give those motivational speeches to you. Yes, the roadblock is just another opportunity to learn. It's another opportunity to make a mistake. Mistakes are opportunities.
It's a door
I'm not going
tells
to
you
go
to
that
open the
far with it.
window.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going that far with it. But I am going to tell you that I don't see the roadblocks more than I see how to circumvent, how to get around the roadblock. I'm more interested in that. So I oftentimes never see the roadblock. I mean, it's so hard it's difficult to articulate. I hope I've done a good job. YouTube is that same sort of thing. In other words, you're sitting around, you're sitting around with your YouTube channel. You're thinking, man, I'm smart enough to be able to figure this thing out. And then you start experimenting and doing all kinds of things to see what works. Sir Luke is in the house. You already said hello to Sir Luke, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And Landers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, and 12 is in the house. Thank you, Sir Luke. I need all the help I can get. May the force be with you. All right. So where was I? All right. So that's what YouTube is to me. Maybe I'm talking about it because of this. I'm talking about this stuff because YouTube is just another, platform tool. You can even look at it as an AI human being sort of thing, where you can figure out what works and what doesn't, and then you just take off from there. I think that what is true is that not trying something that you think that may not work or may work, not trying is the enemy. But again, I don't see it. I never have seen it. When someone comes up to me and they say there are rules, Dan, that must be followed, I hardly ever acknowledge those rules. I mean, especially if they're limiting me in what I want to do. Right? Rules are made to be broken, folks. Rules are mere guidelines. It's kind of like driving in the Philippines. Yes, the roads have lines, but they're only suggestions. So if you kind of view, so here's what I noticed, and another reason why I'm bringing it up is this. You Filipinos and Filipinas that are in the chat today, don't don't allow yourself to be limited by the crap that's coming these days. All these rules that people are starting to throw around, which we never had to deal with in the Philippines before. In other words, now we have traffic lights, and we have uh, you can't drive jeepneys in the city of Manila. You have all this crap coming down, right? And the difference between the Philippines and the U.S. is that people in the U.S., my experience, they're basically sheeple. Tell me what to do, when to do it, and I'm going to do it. So we're easy to manipulate. But in the Philippines, culturally, they're free thinkers, inventors, and they're just innovative. They're innovative. So because they have had to learn how to survive, turn nothing into something, turn nothing into a living. They've had to come up with all kinds of different ideas. And so, but the influx, or the influence of Western and um, I would say modernization, countries that are already up the food chain a little bit, like China, those influences that are coming from the West and from China come with rules attached, and all these rules, they're limiting. They're limiting. Anna May Reyes, thanks so much for sharing out the channel. Uh, you know, and so I would say that right now there's nobody. I mean, you have traffic enforcement, but do you ever see anybody getting pulled over? You have a guy out here with a big vest that says traffic enforcement, but he's got to run hella fast in order to catch up to a car who has bogarted him. In other words, they're more interested in getting in providing for their families and getting their paycheck at this point in time than running after you because you didn't stop for a pedestrian crossing the crosswalk. So that's probably a bad example. Don't run over any pedestrians. That's not what I'm suggesting here. What I'm suggesting, though, is that, all right, so you're being piled on with all these rules. Some of them make sense and some of them don't. But get while the getting is good. And so even in the States, I never looked at these regulations and laws and rules as being limitations to what I wanted to accomplish. And the reason why is because nobody else did. I mean, when you look at the huge corporations that became successful, if you look at their historical underpinnings, they weren't following the rules in the beginning. They only followed the rules once they became so large and they had to go out and seek investors to become larger. Then they started to confine themselves to regulations and requirements. And so that's what's coming to the Philippines. And so maybe it won't affect this generation. I'm not sure. Maybe it may take a couple of generations for that the culture to be infiltrated with all this crap. But so one of the things that I'm talking about is this idea. Of course, I've talked about it before. Of buying things on time. Buying things on time over 12, 24, 36 months, and then being relieved once you pay it off, and then the next month going back and getting the next thing that you want to spoil your family with. Oh my gosh, this thing is, it's no good. Yes. So
I was going to say, if you're going to buy on time, get like 0% interest for so many months, and make sure it's paid off within that time frame. Because then it's not as good as paying cash for up front, but you're not paying any interest if you pay it off. But here, probably be the same way in the Philippines. But let's say you borrow, like I bought some furniture online with a 0% interest, and I can't remember 30. Let's say it's 36 months to pay it off. Now, if I didn't pay it off within that 36 months, I paid interest on all of it, even what I already paid off. But if you had it paid off by the time they say, you don't pay any interest. I bought that furniture when I moved down here from my apartment. I got that on credit, but it was 0% interest. I paid it off like 2 months before I had to have it paid off. So
Growing pains, Mike says. They think rules will lead to modernization, dragging them into the first world. How about would there be a reason why you wouldn't want to be part of the first world, Mike? That's the thing that comes to mind. In other words, why is that such a great thing that people strive for, that countries strive for?
you got to look at what they're giving up to get there. You know, what do you give up to get there? Right now, everybody seems to be happy. Do you give up that happiness? Do you give up that fun-loving side of yourself?
By the way, I want to thank everybody who sent me well wishes for the cold thing. I'm feeling a little bit better. Actually, I'm feeling 100% better, even though you could still see that hear, I should say, and see that I'm congested. I got my toilet paper roll right here, but I'm doing much, much better. And how I did it was, I think I already mentioned it, so why not mention it again? How I did it was electrolytes and vitamins, and I went to the doggy store and I got doxycycline. Some people were making fun of me saying that's doggy cycling, Dan.
If it works, it works.
Yeah, it works, and I'm going to probably start barking any moment. So, yeah, the super rich and the politicians, exactly. So, if there's a natural resource that is going to be exploited, you're gonna move quickly up the food chain. First world means more oil for the super rich, politicians, etc. Yeah, more money. Money, money, money. The question is who benefits on the rules. Well, it ain't. Most of the time, it ain't going to be you, but most of the time, they want you to follow them so that they can benefit. All I'm saying is don't. Right now, well, no one's paying attention. Don't be paying attention to any of that stuff. Just do what you do. Do what you do. You go beyond the rules, right? Crystals, you were saying you go beyond the rules. Just keep doing what you're doing. They want to limit farming in the U.S. right now. They don't want you even farming on your own property in your backyard. They don't want you even growing anything. Listen, you can't even collect rainwater in the United States. It is actually against the law. You cannot collect it.
And Mike, Married to a Beautiful Woman's here, and ABCM just came in.
Mike, how's it going? They want you to pay for the water. If they're finding out that you're collecting rainwater, they're going to come and they're going to give you a ticket. How you doing, Mike Married?
Hey, Big Mac Daddy.
Hey, boys.
How you doing, sir?
Good. How you doing, Larry?
Better than yesterday. I wasn't
feeling Larry.
Here, wait. I'll do it. I'll make it official. Larry. Electric
So
Larry.
Tim's giving us an example of what he's been through here. I bought an electric scooter on payments, paid it off early, and got a discount from the original price of the scooter. Yeah, if you go to the Tim Case channel, he's going to tell you how he thought that he could pay off his Toyota Land Rover, whatever that big-ass truck is that he bought, that he's paid $100K for, or whatever it was. And you go in there and watch the videos about how he got screwed over from the credit corporation. Was that – I don't want to misquote what kind of model car it was or truck or who.
Yeah, but it depends on the contract.
Yeah, well,
I'm a car dealer forever. Is there a prepayment penalty on the interest, or is the interest counted at the date of purchase for the length of the loan and the number of the payments?
There was a prepayment penalty. They said so. Oh yeah, you can pay it off early. That's one question that you need to ask, right?
Well, you
right,
can,
Ed?
but do you get a discount?
Yeah, and apparently he did not. I mean, he did not. He said it was a royal pain in the ass. So he had to he had to pay all this interest before they would release him under this contractual obligation. That's kind of how they roll up here in the Philippines.
Well, wait a minute. Somebody didn't read their contract in full before they signed it.
Okay. You want me to spend 10, 20 hours when I'm in the throes of buying a brand new spanking glittering car with that new car smell and all that? I don't have time. I don't have time to read a contract.
Carol, how you
understand, Dan, I understand you may not have time. In that case, you might want to pick up a copy of the contract that they're asking you to ledger and take it to a lawyer before you sign it.
ABCM is in the house. Hey, do yourself a favor, and when you guys get a chance, I thought ABCM was live this morning. I don't know if she's still live or not, but hey, go pay a visit. You'll enjoy it.
And the only thing I'm saying is, Dan, it seems unfair, but that's business.
Cash is king is what I was getting to.
Well, that's true too. Cash is always king, but a lot of times when you're buying a car or a vehicle, you get not the same deal if you pay cash because they make more money on the finance.
Exactly. So that's why they call me Second-Hand Dan.
I'm with you. Dan, I had to buy a washing machine for my house the other week. I got a $500 washing machine for $75.
That's how you do it, brother. Crystal's is saying, correct. Following the rules spoils the adventure. It's no fun to follow the rules. It's no fun. Take it from me. Right. It's not any fun at all. It costs you money in the end. Elaine Cruz official.
I like Second-Hand Dan because you're living life on 25% of the cost.
Exactly.
I know.
And so
my second-hand 20-year-old Volvo cost me only $2,000, which is half of what they're going for when I bought it. And it's been a wonderful car. I've had to do only scheduled mile maintenance, alternator, fuel pump, but it's got over 200,000 miles on it. Purrs like a kitten.
You're making a good point. Here's the whole thing. It used to work in the States. For some people, I suppose that it still does. I could give you an example in the States where it still may work. But, necessity is the mother of invention, and there are no clearer verifications of proof that I've seen in any one country that I've ever visited than right here in the Philippines.
Can I give you a good one?
Yes.
I got the home I live in for free. I got a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house with a fireplace. I got it for free because people thought it was haunted. You'd plug things in and your appliances would explode.
Mike's bringing up a good point right now.
My house had what they call an open neutral. It was a burnt wire in the underground electrical system that I had to have the electric company out finally to figure out, because I looked for an open neutral for 2 weeks. When I fixed it, I got the nicest house on the block for free.
Yeah, people think that it isn't possible, but you and I were living proof that it does happen. I could give you my example, but I won't because I would just be bragging. But you weren't. It's just fact. But here, Tobias is saying something that is scary, but I know that this happens. I've seen this happen. In the city of Rockford, Illinois, they tore down a park to make farmland. And so now, here's in Netherlands, I don't know if you heard this or not, I don't know if Netherlands is the home of co-op housing, but that would make sense. In the Netherlands, they are restricting appreciation on homes so that poor folks with lower income will have more of an opportunity to be able to float a loan in order to buy that house. Well, that's just ass backwards, in my opinion. That's just ass backwards. The secret to low-cost housing is build low-cost housing. It's so simple. But you don't kill the real estate industry, or you don't kill capitalism by telling a person that if your house goes up any higher than $400,000, we won't loan money on it. And so you're essentially restricting the appreciation or the appreciated value.
That's
How
communism.
much you can make. Yeah.
Total
And so
control
that
of the market.
And so I'm thinking, but I'd expect it out of the Netherlands, because if they're not, the Scandinavian countries, is Netherlands part of the Scandinavian countries?
You're thinking of Amsterdam and Holland and all that.
Yeah,
And
yeah. They're all into that cooperative housing, which is an idea I used to like. But even then, people take advantage of that
I
co-op
can't
housing.
believe that they're doing that. I got family who are Dutch.
All right. Well, I had relatives that were paid for not growing crops. Exactly. So
My relatives get paid not to grow crops too. So they grow other crops.
nice work if you can get it, I say.
Well, my aunt gets paid to not grow soybean on her property.
Yeah.
So they grow alfalfa.
So yeah, so Larry, let me ask you a question. What's a way? Give me an example of how you think people in the States are figuring out how the system of things work, and they're taking advantage of it. Just give any example. I'm not looking for any particular one, but things that have happened in recent history where folks have taken advantage of it,
Well, recent
and it's
history was
transforming American culture.
I was going to say recent history was the COVID.
Yeah, all that
Yeah.
COVID stuff.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I know people that were drug addicts. They got 25,000 plus cash.
And they were paid not to work.
Paid not to work. That's it. That's
Well, they claim they were working, but they were just all-day drug addicts.
In New
So
York,
they got paid by the government.
In New York, you got your unemployment, your normal unemployment, and then they gave them another $300 to $600 a week to not work on top of that.
Right.
Now, guys like me, there was guys like me that made around the same amount of money I did, made more money not working than I made working with my overtime. Because I worked.
Yes. Okay. So check this out. I just want to give you an example of.
And I didn't touch any of it because I didn't want to go to jail afterwards.
Hey, so that's why I've always liked you. By the way, Beck, the reason why I've always liked you, Mac Daddy, is because you circumvented everything by, by making moonshine, basically.
Well, do you know what I did? Can I tell you what I did with my COVID money? You'll like me even more.
Yeah, what'd you do with that? You invested it.
Got all that stimulus money?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I took my stimulus money and I bought land. Well, I watched everybody buy computers, color televisions, and all the crazy stuff that they were doing with it.
Yeah,
I bought an acre and a half of land for $4,500.
Listen, we weren't the only ones that spent the money on useful stuff like that. Most of the people, they paid off credit card debt, but most of the people now, they're back in debt. You know, they piled on once things started getting good, and now that we have this inflationary cycle, they're going, whoa, what the hell did I do? I ran my American Express card back up again. Now they're calling me wanting their money.
My $4,500 piece of property is currently for sale for $15,000. Because not only did I buy a smart piece of property, Dan, I bought one that has utilities already on it: water, sewer, and electric. Plus, it has a well and a spring.
Okay, so hey, that's why you got me here. I could watch, and then I could tell you what Tim K's doing. So now, so I started pondering this. So here's what people are figuring out. I just want to give you one example of what's going on with generation. What do they call it? Born in 1986, 86, 89. Millennials, right? Okay, millennials. All right, millennials. So here's what they've figured out. So in California, I can give you that example because this is the state that I'm most familiar with. So the federal government provides this insurance, health insurance. It's called Medicaid. And Medicaid, you're eligible for in the state of California if you're a single person and you are beneath an income level. They call it Medi-Cal in California because they have to be special. So they give it a special name. Medical California, Medi-Cal for short. If you make under 17.5 or something like that, medical insurance doesn't cost you a dime. If you're married, you're two people, $23,000 or $24,000 would be the next level up. So but it's combined household income. So you have to establish residence, and then what happens is that you have to be everybody. They count everybody's income in the household. So I started thinking about this. How you establish? So what they figured out is that you're penalized if you don't have health insurance in the state of California. The federal government has done away with this rule. Yeah. By the way, the federal government no longer taxes you. It's a hidden tax, but it's still a tax for not having what they called Obamacare, national health care insurance. In California, they still tax you. So the tax runs for an individual somewhere around $100 per month on an income of about $35,000 or $40,000. But here's what the health insurance costs you. If you comply with the law, health insurance is going to cost you $1,000 plus per month. Now, is that crazy? So what was California really trying to do here?
Make the insurance company rich.
Keep you poor.
No, they were trying to get the tax because they knew that people wouldn't pay the health insurance premium.
Well, see, that was the thing about Obamacare, too.
Yeah, but can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Go ahead.
I kind of regret that you people call the Affordable Care Act Obamacare, because who invented Obamacare?
It wasn't Obama. It was
Mitt Romney. And the Republicans never want to own the fact that they invented it.
All right, well,
yeah, you're right.
Obamacare.
It's the Affordable Care Act. Let's call it what it is.
You could be offended. It doesn't matter. The whole thing is offensive. It offends me as well.
The thing that was wrong with it.
So
Donald Trump promised us health care in 2 weeks for 8 years. It never happened. Why? Because he couldn't do it.
In office for 4. How could
he did it before he got in office.
Let's park that because the point I just used healthcare as an example. I should have known better. I should have known better. But here's the thing: millennials have figured out that all they have to do is keep themselves under the income limits. This is the bottom line, and they can get health care for free, meet the Affordable Care Act requirements, and not be penalized. That's the point that I was trying to make. Which stifles the economy because they won't go after the jobs that pay more. Are you following what I'm getting at?
I used to pay $205 a month for medical. Then all of a sudden it just went through the roof in 2 years.
Exactly. So it's income based. And so I used
to pay cash and I didn't have income based. We formed
based on family group. Size, right. They destroyed the whole thing.
Well, we formed a group where I worked. If one of us bought it, it was like $400 a month. If 3 or more of us were buying it, it was $205.
Right, so we did it through an association.
We got together and formed a group.
Right, we formed a group also. We just joined we just formed an association and joined a healthcare group.
Yeah, well, we
did not defeat the eventual rise of health insurance. So, but millennials have figured it out. Bless their souls. I guess I'm giving them a compliment. Pat Gilmertz, thanks so much for being here. So I meant to say that they're smarter than the average bear. And so they say, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to get the job at Taco Bell instead of the one working in Folsom at Hewlett-Packard, the assembly line, because when I math it out, I actually will make more money working at Taco Bell because I have to pay the healthcare premiums.
Right.
So, but California and other states They knew this was going to happen. See, everybody thinks that this happens in a vacuum. It does not. They have rocket scientists figuring all this math out, and they go, "Hey, you can increase revenue, tax revenue streams by doing it this way because the people are going to react this way."
It's like working at Walmart and being able to be eligible for food stamps. The big corporations know what they're doing, and they know what to pay to keep you right in them lines.
Exactly, I agree. So nothing happens in a vacuum. And folks, this is the kind of stuff they want to bring to a country near you. That's the point I'm trying to make.
The big corporations are playing the government, and it's crazy.
No, the government's involved in it, I believe.
Yeah.
It's not they're playing. The two are playing the same game. They're playing with each other because it benefits both of them.
Okay, now, how can I tell you, how do I know? I don't have my crystal ball in front of me, but I can predict the future, and I'm gonna do so boldly right now. I'm gonna predict the future.
I see
this. Okay, what I see in the future is, for us here in the United States anyway, not for the Philippines. I apologize if I'm boring you, Filipinos. My point about talking about this is the fact that you have to be, the Philippines isn't at all like the United States in that when they started talking about, oh, you're not going to be able to drive your jeepney anymore in the city of Manila because it creates too much smog. You're going to have to get an electric vehicle. The people came out in the thousands and they said, hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go. But in the United States, you know, you could have Business Insider write an article about how to survive a nuclear bomb blast on the city of Los Angeles, and people just go, meh, meh. Do they come out and they say to you, we want peace? No. Why? They're too busy. They're too busy trying to defeat the Medi-Cal system. My point is,
we already got the electric
Filipinos are different. Filipinos will not stand by and take the crap. They will not. They will not. They won't even pay attention to it. But push comes to shove, and you're going to have 10,000 people in the capital city protesting, saying, no, you're not doing that to us because we know what this means. You know, we know that you're taking away from us. They could see the future. You see, they could see as much as I could see the future. You're taking away from us 12 pesos to ride the Jeep that I need to get to work in. I need to get the Jeep to get to work in every single day on my 450 peso minimum salary.
Yeah, but you know what I don't understand? And I watch it happen here all the time. They take these new hybrid buses that we have here in the States. They got a diesel motor in them that operates the generator, which operates the motor and the bus, and they're low. They're smog resistant. They're not as bad as that Jeepney.
Yeah.
Why don't we buy them at auction and export them to the Philippines? They have air conditioning and everything, and they ride 80-some people.
Oh, they have tariffs on all that stuff. That's why you can't do it.
But you think the government would want to buy them at auction used and bring them in?
Yeah, we just got. I'll tell you. Thank you, Pinky.
Stainless steel frame. They won't rot.
I just saw you, Pink. Thanks for sharing that out. Hey, they just got through eliminating the tariffs on electronics, and so now you can go out and buy an Android TV for $200. Thank goodness there is a God in heaven. I'm convinced now. So anyway, I don't know if that was a special deal they made with the Chinese or not, but truth be told, they did away with those tariffs for a reason. And it probably had a lot to do with the way people started to protest, saying that we've had enough of this. Oh, Sir Luke, your sense of humor. Kills me.
Well,
Maloma's here.
the
Nicole.
Philippines needs to upgrade their internet infrastructure big time everywhere.
So I said I was going to my crystal ball to tell you the future.
Yeah, what is it?
But it's going to light you up. I have a feeling it's going to light you up. And so, but I am telling you the future.
Light up, Ed, and I'll go to sleep.
And what it is there will be no second term for you.
For
That's
who?
it. For your friends. There will be no second term in office.
No second term for Joe.
And the reason why
there's going to be a second term for Donald Trump either.
No, they're most likely, but will not be. But here's the thing. Mr. TJT has all the power. And so he's going to be calling the shots in the next election.
No, he won't be.
Oh, yes, he is. Oh, yes, he is.
He's not.
He already is, bro. You're not willing to accept that. That's okay. I understand that.
Well, see, here's the thing.
He's the most powerful Republican in the entire country. He's the most powerful one from now until the day he dies, into the future.
Okay, that's all great, David. Here's what you don't know. The women of this country aren't going to stand there and watch their rights be walked on. And under the female vote alone, they will lose.
We didn't say anything about Republicans winning. No one talked about that at all. What I was saying is that he's the most powerful Republican in the country right now.
I know.
And so he is the election deal spoiler this time around. And so so here's what happened. I want to talk about Mr. President, what he did. So he wanted to ensure that he was not going to be reelected. So even though the words were coming out of his mouth, do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? I am running for president of these here United States. I want the second term. And then he goes to his crew, and then he says, let's raise the age limit on Social Security to guarantee that I can't win re-election. And boom, it's done. And it's done. It's done. So now the committees are formed, and they're getting ready to introduce the legislation, raising under this president's term the increasing of the age. The millennials are going to have the biggest influence over this election.
Yeah, like I said, and anybody that's close to the age of retirement, and now they got to wait another year or two.
Yeah, well, of course, you know, the people that it's not going to impact the people. They have a formula, you know, they always come up with formulas.
Yeah,
and
but
so
it's going to impact somebody that's not going to be happy with it, is what I'm saying.
Well, I don't think there's going to be anybody who's going to be happy, especially the millennials who are going to be told that they have to wait till age 69
in order to the millennials want change. The millennials want the gun laws changed. The millennials want the Roe versus Wade or whatever it is, the women's right to an abortion taken back because they went nuts with it. We want to stop them from banning books.
Zach Bucci is here. Thank you for being here. I hope I'm not chasing you guys away.
I don't want to argue all this because I'll sync your channel with it, but I don't know that Joe Biden wins, but I know the Republicans aren't going to win.
Oh, listen, I don't think they're going to win either.
I don't know who's going to win. I just don't want Biden or Trump.
Right, and I'm with you on that, Larry. I don't care for Biden like everybody thinks I do, but I'd take Biden over Trump any day. Because, see, I know Trump from Atlantic City on the days when he was a liar, cheat, and a thief.
See, I'm exactly where Sir Luke is on this. I'm not going to try and hide it at all. it's two sides of the same deep state coin. Choosing a different coin is an illusion. There is no other coin. And so they're setting the whole thing up. Trump already knows that he's the deal spoiler in this thing. He knows he isn't going to be elected president. Come on, you guys. Cut me a break. The fix is already in.
Well, I just hope Biden doesn't run because
What's also in probably is the pardon.
Harris could very well be the president. She is. Oh no.
Well, hey, what's already in place probably is even the pardon. You know, whoever is elected, you got to do this. You got to pardon the Trumpster. This is all just a big theater.
Well, don't forget Hunter getting pardoned.
Yeah, but Hunter needs a pardon. Yeah, what a joke, Larry. I don't think Hunter took. Wait a minute, stop. I don't think Hunter took $2 billion like Jared Kushner from the Saudis for giving them information on how the Israelis would bomb the Middle East.
What's a few million, a few billion amongst friends, I always say.
A few billion, sure. The difference between $1.5 million twice or 2 billion, Larry, can you count?
No. They're both too high for me. Look, I didn't say Kushner shouldn't be in trouble. That's not what I said.
What the Trumpster and all his family did makes Hunter Biden look like a traffic ticket.
God, I think if anybody found out what I did as a kid, I probably would be behind bars for about 20 years myself. But I got away with it.
Behind bars for 20 years.
I'm feeling kind of guilty.
I probably would have been with myself.
I made a hell of a lot of money. I think the statute of limitation is up for what I did.
Well, it's
anyway,
over with for mine.
Yeah. So there you go. You know, I don't color within the lines. I don't expect anyone else to either. I'll be honest with you.
I'm not proud to sit here and sell moonshine.
All's fair. All's fair in love and wars. All fair in love and war. That's how I view the world. Speaking of raising revenue, Phil should legalize weed like Thailand and use the tax money for social services or to improve the roads. They have many options. Oops, I think I need to stay out of this one.
I would vote for Robert.
Thailand, hey, Tobias, Thailand is a pretty nice place to live, but I prefer the Philippines over Thailand. I like all the glitter. I like all the lights. I like all the nice roads and infrastructure and all that other stuff. But I love the Philippines because I don't have
the Burmese government.
I don't like smelling weed, quite frankly. I have no problem with people who do it. I just don't like smelling it.
Well, like I said,
Thailand, that's Don Jr.'s problem. He doesn't like cocaine. He just likes the way it smells.
Dan, your crystal ball has a brown out. Yeah, it's browned out. But anyway, I said I wasn't using my crystal ball for this. You know, this one, you don't need a crystal ball for this prediction. You don't need one. And so that, quite frankly, the setup is in, and it's so easy to manipulate the American public. All I'm saying is don't fall for it when it starts hitting the Philippines. That's all I'm saying. When it starts coming here, don't follow it. Don't swallow it. Don't follow it. And so the whole thing or just plain beware. That's all. It's not my country. It's not my country. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to give you advice.
Nah, but the Philippines has its own situation.
It's not the same.
No,
it isn't the same, and they won't react the same way, even if they have the same rules.
Well, they can't have the same rules, and they can't have the same situation.
Well, they could. I mean, it's looking just like. I mean, the whole. Quite frankly, you know, 20 years ago, they weren't going to the International Monetary Fund and borrowing money. Cut me a break. All that stuff was unheard of. They weren't even accepting loan money from other countries. Look out for John Kennedy Jr. He leads Trump. Yes, he's at 26% of the vote that counts. So yes, he's the guy to watch out for, and of course you need Trump in there to spoil everything, deflect votes. Trump knows why he's there. Trump knows why he's there.
Well, Trump needs an orange jumper, as far as I'm concerned.
Of course, that's the whole illusion. That's the whole thing they're trying to sell you.
Well,
Yes,
but
put him in jail. Put him
I
in
think
jail
he's
forever. It's never going to
Dan.
happen, dude. They're going to pardon
Dan,
him.
Trump.
They're going to pardon him.
You're missing my
Hey,
point. Yeah, I can't even get it in. Trump deserved an orange jumper long before he ever ran for president.
who cares? I don't care. I don't run in those circles. I could care less.
Well, see, but
You
I
know,
had friends that got hurt by him. I know families
I'm,
that
I'm
lost their whole
sorry. I'm
family
sorry that
fortune.
happened. But
I
I
know
told you
people
my
that
view.
lost close to $500,000 to
I
Donald
told you
Trump.
my view. You don't get rich by being a nice guy. That's why I'm poor.
It wasn't about being a nice guy. He was just a thief.
Listen, that's sometimes you have to do what you have to do in order to get the money transferred into your pocket. I have no
You
problem
ever
with
see
He
that.
how
didn't have to do
Rockefeller and
that.
all them got their money?
He didn't have to sign contracts to build a parking garage
Yeah, but
for his
do
casino
you know how
and rip
I'm
Rockefeller
everybody
and the
off.
Kennedys got their money?
I'm I'm not the guy to cast stones because I'm not the purest guy that I know.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, but you go back and look at the Rockefellers and the Kennedys and some of the others, and look how they got their money. They were just as crooked, if not more so,
I
than
mean,
Trump.
quite frankly, I'm feeling very insecure lately. Maybe you can tell. I mean, quite frankly, I'm very, very insecure. I mean, all my money comes from government entities. How would you like to be sitting here and have every single dime of your monthly income coming from a government agency?
Yeah, I know. The American
That's the way
government
I'm
goes
going to be once
upside
I
down.
quit
You're
working.
done.
I mean, yeah, I'm scared shitless right now. Oh, I'm not allowed to say.
Like I said, that's the way I'm going to be when
I'm
I
scared
retire.
S-less. So, of course, if you write me a check, I'll vote for whoever you want. Just tell me who you want me to vote for. You have to write me a check that's
Who's the
worth.
highest? No. Who's the highest bidder? And give me the money.
Give me the money, and I'll vote for you.
Well, you
Simple.
know
The
what the
highest
sad
bidder.
part is, Dan, is you can't take your money out up front. If you could do that, the
Well,
whole
they're
world would
working
be
on
different.
that. I understand in this Social Security reform bill, they're working on that. They're going to allow you to borrow against it so you can go broke a lot sooner. Go broke before you're dead. So I'm all for it. By the way, I think I've said this before. You know, if you can, I mean, based on recent history here, I'm talking about the last several months, I've completely changed my whole attitude about whether a person should work until the day you die. And I think that if you don't work until the day you die, they're coming to get you.
I don't qualify for Social Security. Did I tell you that one?
No.
Well, I don't qualify.
Well, you need to keep at it.
I'm running out of time. In the last 10 years, I haven't voted enough money with Social Security. I don't have enough quarters in. I haven't worked 5 out of the last 10 because of the shitty economy in this country. And what
Oh,
they
yeah, that rule. I used to warn people about that rule. Sir Luke, the rich says the rich either got wealth through questionable actions or they are the benefactors of those who did. That's the way America was born.
Yeah, like I
God
said,
bless America.
go
They
back
came
and look
over
at
here
it.
for the exploitation of resources. They exploited, they got rich. I got no problem with it, and I don't
What
think
was
Sir
the
Luke
first?
does.
What was
Sir
the
Luke is
first
just stating
resource
a point of fact.
that they exploited?
Well,
The really wealthy, oil.
the War of 1812.
No.
Why don't you
Nope,
review some
hold on.
history?
The first natural resource that they exploited was the codfish.
Oh, that would get my attention, definitely. So there
That's how
you
far
go.
back it goes.
The codfish. So now we have something to.
The salt cod. They would catch them, salt them, and ship them back to Europe.
Yeah, it is ringing a bell with me. It's resonating with me. So that's why we have you on here. Oh, by the way, before we
And
go
don't forget,
further,
they also did that with the lumber.
it's lumber that I was going.
Now, 'cause
Lumber is
the
where I was
English
going,
wanted the
and so
lumber
we
to
wiped
build
out
their
the
ship.
entire. we wipe out the entire guys. Has
Well, that's
anybody
why
heard from?
shipbuilding was
Has
so
anybody
strong
heard
in
from,
America.
Yeah, but it was. Well,
But the
Has
codfish
anybody-
was the first thing.
I believe that, but like I said, the lumber was right behind it.
Has anybody heard from Leonard Lunn? By the way,
No.
I heard from Leonard the other day, but I can't raise him up. I was at my meeting Wednesday night, and he told me he fell, and it wasn't good.
oh, see, he has disappeared. So I sent him a message a couple of days ago, and he didn't respond. And then I started getting emails from people saying, Dan, did something happen to Leonard because he's not responding to my messages? And I started to panic a little bit.
Tuesday night when your live stream was on, I let Leonard know that you were on, and he said he was going to try and go there. But he had informed me that day he had fell, and he didn't have any help to get up or anything. So, and I didn't know how bad or anything he was injured. And I texted him back that I was sitting in my official position that I have at this meeting. I couldn't chat. But I let him know that you were on, and I sent him to your chat, and I guess he didn't make it. And
remember, he might have made Tuesdays, but he didn't say anything about falling.
Right.
No, he did. He was here. He was here.
Well, Tuesday night, the reason why I wasn't in your live stream, I belong to the Wimber Slovak Club. And because we're a nonprofit, by state mandate, we operate a bar at our club, and we have to take the proceeds of our bar and donate them. So I donated to like Little League and football and cheerleaders. And I donated a big chunk of the money to the library for literacy. So I gave them $2,000.
That's fantastic. Tobias, you're making a good point. So, Tobias, there's no shortage of jobs. There's a whole bunch of jobs that the young people, they don't want to work. And
But
so
wait
if
a minute.
something were to go upside down, there wouldn't be a problem getting a service oriented job so long as the economy was holding up okay.
Dan, you know what they need to do?
What's that?
I got a cure for the American public, and nobody wants to hear it. They'll go nuts.
Talk to me. I'll hear it. Talk to me.
Take these immigrants that are coming across the border and give them all green cards. Let them get legitimate jobs. And you know what happens when they get a legitimate job? They pay taxes.
Exactly.
By the billion.
Some green card, but I want them to pass a background check first.
Okay, Larry. Well, while you're doing all that, these people that we let in don't have enough background check to even check most of them. And on top of that, wait a minute, let me finish. And while you want them to all check background checks, they've done studies on these people. When you let them in, they're well behaved. They live by the rules. They do what they should do.
You're kind of, Larry, I know where you're going with this. I think I do anyway. I don't know for sure, but Edward, I'm kind of leaning on your side just a tiny bit, and I'll tell you why. It's because Larry, and I think you got to agree with my point on this. Number one, we don't know who's coming into the country now.
Oh no, we don't. I'm against that.
And so if we could get a handle on who's coming in, what their names are, a little bit about their background, their history, we're doing much, much better.
But who's going to give you a background on somebody who was living in a Napa hut in the jungles of Peru?
That's
what
true.
Background
so
are you going to get?
I think you're framing it. You're framing it nicely, and so it's better to know who's coming in than not know who's coming in. And so we gather up some basic information about who this person is.
We give them a photo ID.
Yeah, which is way better. Which is way better than letting them through unrestricted.
They've done studies on these people. 90% of them, like well over 95%, when they get here, obey our laws as best they can. They don't come in and become convicted felons or drug dealers.
You're like I said, I agree that most of them are here to work and make a better life for themselves. I agree with that.
When you got a woman coming in with
thank you, Larry, for saying that. Thank you. I appreciate
But
that.
that's not my problem.
What's your problem?
My problem is we want to. I want to make sure
Well,
that they keep. You got
Sir
to
Luke,
check it out
right,
a little bit
see-
because we got gang members coming in.
Yeah.
Women being brought in for
What,
prostitution.
what,
When he had
gang-
to-
what are they? The banana picking mafia? Come on.
Ed, Sir Luke,
They are.
he says you don't want MS-13 in your neighborhood. No, I don't want him. Not in my neighborhood.
Well,
So, I mean-
MS-13 is
that's
not
gang.
is not a
We
is
gotta
not a
know.
foreign gang. They're
We
American.
gotta- I don't think
MS-13 is out of
Larry,
South America.
Larry, I don't think Ed is saying willy-nilly. I didn't hear him say willy-nilly. I don't think he was saying that.
I'll tell you what, Larry. I agree. Let's put you in charge of background checking everybody you can, and that will let everybody in.
I'm like I said, I'm not against letting people in. I'm all for it.
Ben makes a good point here. Ben, Barry,
making sure that it's not the criminal.
look at this one. This is
Well, you're not
this
going
is
to be able to
different.
do that. Is my point.
Hey, I keep hearing in my country that young people don't want to work, but unemployment is at a record low. I feel like people have too much to complain because life is so easy. We may have tipped the scale on making things a little bit too easy on folks, because they certainly have figured it out in California IA how to make things work in their favor, in their advantage, so they could get free health care, free food to eat, and free housing, or at least, inexpensive housing.
America should have free health care for everybody.
Well,
We
I
pay
know
enough.
Exactly, but you can't because we monetize everything. You can't. It's impossible. It's too big of a machine.
I know.
There's one way you could do it. I don't know if Ed would agree with me or not, but you know how they're always wanting to raise the minimum wage? Make healthcare part of that raise. Make the employers go out and say, this is the minimum you can get. You have to get this much.
Hi, Beth.
And for every employee you got. And you can put them in different brackets, different however. I mean, I'm not an economist. I'm not even going to try to be one. But they could come up with a way. The Canadians do it, so there's got to be. The UK does it, so there's ways of doing it.
Yes.
And like I said,
And I'd rather use their model.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, everybody says, "Oh, well, we got to raise the minimum wage." Freeze the minimum wage at what it is, and the raise will be: you get this much money towards health insurance, and your company's got to give the same amount. So in other words, it's all paid for. You don't pay anything, and that'll be the minimum wage raise. Now, if somebody's already got that,
You can't freeze the minimum wage in Pennsylvania. It's $7 an hour.
But if you have health care, that'll be a hell of an increase because now you can get yourself.
Okay, the minimum wage in New York is 15.
It depends on where you're at. New York City, yes, but not New York State.
Yeah, well, it ain't no $7.35 an hour because you can't live on it anyhow.
It's more than that. But it costs more to live in New York than it does in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, well, Larry, you can't live in Pennsylvania on $7.35 an hour.
You can't live in New York City on $15.50 an hour.
I understand.
Am I echoing, guys? Someone's echoing. Tim says.
Yeah.
All I got is this for my.
All right, so. Oh, dang, we slid a little bit off topic for the first hour and 14 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Does that surprise you?
No, but hey, you know, Dan, I
people
think
have sent me.
let's go talk about the Philippines for a minute.
Oh, wait. I just want to say that I've been getting also. I'm so happy with this group of folks, that come into the chat because I've been getting great emails talking about how they love this particular panel, and our panel discussions.
I think the Philippines needs more health care for the people, and they also need more food backing.
Now, the one thing about the Philippines, they have more of a universal health care. It's not that great, don't get me wrong. But they do have it for the poorer people. Now, the food. You
know how it works, by the way? Do you know how it works?
No.
They sign up. It's not it's not a lot of money per year if you're Filipino, but like
Oh,
said,
you're
it's
talking.
better than what we have here in the States as far as people that are working that are not on Social Security or have it through the work.
No, but do you know how catastrophic health is handled here?
Very
No.
poor. The thing I don't like about the healthcare, from what I hear about the Philippines, is you have to pay up front before you get taken care of.
Well, if you're an expat, but the elderly get free health care
Okay.
But they need SNAP.
at the clinic.
They need SNAP.
And then also, well, yeah, there's that. But I mean, and also, if you have a catastrophic need, then you go to the barangay hall and you fill out the paperwork there and you make the request.
But they need supplemental nutrition assistance programs.
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, yes, they need food. I agree,
Yeah,
but
they need food.
healthcare
I'm tired.
is handled. Healthcare is
I don't-
handled.
I'm tired of having
True.
to send my Filipino family
Right.
money for food.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm glad to do it, and I'm glad I can provide what I can. But
Yeah.
even for me, it's a
They're
struggle.
lucky.
It's not enough.
We're lucky.
Yeah.
Ben Berry is saying, I live in a country with free healthcare. Wait times are huge. When it comes to healthcare, there are three options: quality, cost, availability. You only have two of these three options. That's interesting. So, but healthcare rationing is coming to a country near you. It's already in the United States.
I can't
You know,
get
there
my
are-
eyes done till next
Yeah,
year.
there you
and I'm
go. There's a
blind.
great example. You can't get your eyes done. A great example.
I need
Wait
two
in line.
15-minute. Dan, I need two 15-minute surgeries.
But I got to tell you something. So I'm going to have a procedure done pretty soon. I'm not willing yet. I'm not ready to tell you what it is. So I've been shopping around because I'm going to be paying cash for this.
You getting an
And so
extension?
the country with the best health care for this particular situation I've got, the best
Probably
provider
Thailand.
for this, is going to be Malaysia. It turns
Malaysia,
out to be
okay.
Malaysia, yeah.
I thought
And so
it'd be
it's gonna run roughly $6,000 to have this procedure that would run somewhere between, I would say, $100,000 to $150,000 in the United States.
So no,
If you were to
what,
it's
from
not
6
a
to
minor,
12
it's
inches?
not a minor procedure.
$6,000 for this procedure.
Yeah, but you
If
can
it's
go from
100
6 to 12 inches.
150,000 US, it's not minor.
Now, it isn't minor.
No, it's not minor.
So I mean, that's a big difference.
Well, it is
You're
a big
talking
difference.
about-
I agree with you.
So I mean, for $6,000 to go, it's a $150 round trip to go to Malaysia from Cebu. So I've been talking to Man Mini about this. So you can go, Man Mini and I can go to Cebu, get a hotel room for a couple of days. There's only going to be a couple of days that we're going to be out. Have the procedure and come back for less than it takes for a plane ticket to get back to the United States to have the same procedure. Are you following where I'm going with this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In other words, well, for the two of you, it would cost more money to go to the States, just to go to the States, than to go to Malaysia, get the hotel room, and have the procedure done and come back from Malaysia.
Right. Ben, you're funny. Listen, they'll implant anything you want in Thailand, where you want it,
What are
anywhere.
you getting implanted? A turbo tip?
I'm not having an implant. Ben Barry is having fun, you know. He says, don't get greedy, Dan. He's funny as hell. You belong here, dude, that's for sure. All right, so now let's talk about what's the next topic? We always start talking about different stuff. But I was pointing
let's go
out,
back to the Philippines.
yes, we are in the Philippines. I'm trying to warn
I
everybody.
think the Philippines is getting better and better all the time.
Of course they are, but they're looking more and more like the West all the time.
That's the
And
only
so
way they're
that's-
going. That's the only thing available.
Play by your own playbook. That's what I'm trying to communicate here.
Yeah, but they're gonna look like the West.
Play by your own playbook. I'm sure everybody is fine with the Western influence. You know, I'm sure everybody's okay with it. But while they're getting themselves situated to form all these regulatory commissions, set up all these offices to manage healthcare and food and whatever all that stuff is, agriculture, natural resources, water, electricity, while they're setting all that stuff up, have a gay old time making money. I mean, could somebody restrict you? Honestly, let's get real, Beck. Let's get real, Mac Daddy.
Let's go.
They cannot restrain you. I don't think so. In other words, if somebody came to you, they started. I mean, there's a reason why you have your own processing plant, shall we say? There's a reason why you're making money on the side. You know, there are a whole bunch of benefits to it. It's the way America was born. You aren't doing anything. You're not doing anything that my ancestors didn't do.
But I'm laying low all the time.
Yeah, you have to, of course.
But I can't do it, man.
Yeah, I mean, if those regulators that compete with Jim Beam and all those guys didn't catch up with you, then the revenuers will.
But my problem, Dan, is I can't eat. I don't run my still anymore. I buy it.
Hey, TMI. I don't need to know all the details.
No, I'm just saying I can't do it. They're on top of me. Last year I had to disappear for 2 months.
That's what I'm saying. Tim gets the message. Western influence is great. Just don't bring Western prices here. And Western bureaucracy, well, then again, Western bureaucracy we welcome here in certain cases. But they're computerizing, they're modernizing their systems so quickly here that it would cause your head to spin right off your shoulders. I am not kidding you. It's happening
when
fast.
When they start breaking out the Board of Health, look out.
We were in the immigration office. They had Minnie pulled up on the computer in like a millisecond and had her entire information there. That is what made going through immigration such an easy task. They had everything there right there at their fingertips. The gal there pulls up her file and says, "Oh yeah, here you are. We know what's going on. It's right here. It's right here on the computer." I mean, I thought it was just a magnificent thing. I mean, they're modernizing so fast that it's scary.
Well, you know, Mike, Philippines, Retirement Philippines.
Yeah.
One guy that people like and not the one they don't like.
Right.
He went to Silliman University Hospital. He
yes.
Had some check. He had a full, body checkup. He's 69. And he was talking about how they had that computer system where it brought everything boom right up, and how clean the place was, how well organized. The doctor he had, it's a female doctor. She was in her 40s. He was really pleased with the work, all the workup they did, how professional she was, how she asked the questions, and all that depends on the hospital you go to.
Right,
I mean,
right.
You go to a university hospital, one of them up in the better ones up in Manila, you're going to get much better care than if you go out in the province where maybe the guy is not even a doctor, he's just a nurse practitioner or something.
I got that problem here in Western Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, we got it. We got it in the States. That's what I'm saying. I mean, there's certain areas you're going to get much better treatment than others.
I have to go to the city to get my eyes done because they're so backed up here in Western Pennsylvania, and they just can't do it.
I understand.
We just lost Dan.
Yeah, Dan put up his hand. He was stepping away for a moment.
Oh.
So.
But, Larry, me and you know what we're dealing with here. It's crazy. We can't win.
Now, Ben Barry says, modernizing sounds great. How about we all get numbers tattooed on our forearms for easier identification. No, Ben, I'm against that. And besides, it's supposed to be on your forehead.
Well, no, what they actually want to do is they want to insert a chip in your wrist about the size of a grain of rice.
Yeah, no, I'm against that too.
Well, I am too, but that's what they want to do. And they're already started doing it. And watch about getting a number tattooed on your forearm. That's what Hitler did to the Jews.
Yeah, well, wasn't it on the inside?
They put it on the inside of their arm.
Yeah.
So you can turn your wrist up and read the number. I know people that had it.
Oh, yeah, I met we had a lady, and I can't remember her name. Her and her twin sister survived the Holocaust, and she's one of them that helped start the Candles Museum. The lady out of Terre Haute, they had a museum in Terre Haute, and she, like I said, her and her sister were twins. They were part of the.
Mengele.
Yeah.
Wow.
She settled in Terre Haute. And our sister, I want to say, settled, I want to say New Jersey, but I can't remember for sure anymore.
Wow.
But yeah,
World War II is brutal.
Oh, yeah. But hey, Michelle, how you doing? Michelle Ann Ishill.
The Philippines is a beautiful thing, though, in so many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, but I'm worried they're going to do away with all the beauty by, bringing, as Tim was alluding to, American prices along with American culture here. That's my biggest worry. But would it be in time for me to not be able to enjoy my retirement? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure it would be in time.
I learned something interesting about the Philippines.
You're setting everything up now while it's still fairly cheap. You got your house built in bye-bye. You're talking about another one there in San Francisco. What is it? San Francisco or San Fernando area, which is
I don't know. It's not going over so well with the wife whenever I bring it up.
Okay.
I found something interesting out about the Philippines, Dan.
See, I think that she just wants me to hear the words that I'm going to pay for it. I think she's waiting for me to. I think she's okay with living anywhere, right? And moving around. I think she's enjoying that. She's enjoying it. I think she's waiting for me to say the words. Is this going to be? She wants to know: is this going to be halvesies, or are you going to pay for the house? See, that's the whole thing.
You ought to pay for the other.
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth. I am more than willing to pay for the house.
Well, I got one for you. I learned something out about the Philippines.
What's that?
Well, the population has went up so much in the Philippines these days that they can no longer feed themselves totally and have to import over 20% of their food.
Yeah, that's true, I believe.
So they're becoming more
importing it. But they're moving real quickly to form agricultural cooperatives, and also I noticed a lot of industrial farmers, big corporations that are very, very well known are starting to show up here.
The Philippines, yes, very true. The Philippines is modernizing their rice growing procedures and all that. And the Department of Agriculture in the Philippines is amazing what they're doing with the tenant farmers.
Well, Dan, let me say this now. In one of the videos that you did with Crystal and Mark, I believe I saw a more modern tractor.
Yeah.
And so
there's a lot of those.
Because it used to be it was the Caribou that was
right.
That did all the
Carabao, not Caribou.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, as a matter
of fact, the entire infrastructure that's in Pangasinan is way different than you see in a city like Manila. In other words, how Manila is known for having endless lines of poles carrying cable everywhere, and all the cable is tied together. I don't even know how they troubleshoot cases of trouble when they have to. It's amazing.
You put a screamer on it.
Yeah, it's amazing how they do it. But in Pangasinan, it looks just like Terre Haute. It looks just like any place in the USA, and it blew me away to see that.
Can
Now,
I tell you what
You know how
I've
to
seen from
pronounce
the
the name
Department of
Terre Haute.
Agriculture? You ever see how they wrap hard candy up in little like balls with a piece of cellophane on it?
yeah, I got a piece right here.
Well, they were giving out seeds to people like that all over the Philippines. Instead of giving them a handful of candy wrapped up like that, they were giving them handfuls of seeds to go back to their farm and plant,
Right.
which was, I thought, great. And they had seeds like for okra, the squash type pumpkins that you guys eat over there, all kinds of crops that will do well in the Philippines. I've seen the Department of Agriculture give out cacao trees, which is cocoa, and they give out coffee trees. I've seen it all. So I'm very impressed with what the Philippines is doing.
They need to work on the coffee roasting. That's my biggest complaint.
I want to come to the Philippines and be a coffee roaster.
Yeah.
I've been looking at coffee roasting machines.
Yeah, you know what's going on in the Philippines? There are only like 3 or 4 families that are buying up all the coffee farms, and they're doing it really quickly. So
Yeah, but they keep on.
it's happening with chocolate also.
They're giving out coffee trees. Do you know that 50 years ago you couldn't grow coffee in the sun? Are you aware of that?
No, didn't know that.
Well, 50 years ago, coffee had to be grown under another tree on a shady side of a hill. And then in the early 70s, they invented sun coffee, a coffee tree that could take the sun all day.
Tim is saying they're starting to clean out the dead lines that are hanging between the telephone poles.
That sounds good. Get rid of that spaghetti.
Crystal's saying rice coffee is the best. You know what? I kind of am believing that you need to add rice coffee or corn coffee into the mix in order to smooth the flavor out a little bit. Kind of the way that they do chicory in the United States to take the bite out of it. Well, that's kind of, yeah.
You got to put in a more mellow bean, like a Kona bean.
I like my coffee. It doesn't have to be mellow. Stick a spoon in it, and if it stands straight up, it's good.
Yeah, but
the spoon doesn't melt.
the coffee roasters that you're buying it from are already mellowing it out for you, Larry.
I drink Maxwell House or Folgers. I don't go for the fancy brands.
They're talking about, well, yeah, but even their fancy blends.
Yeah, but I'm saying, no, you go for some of the others. They got maybe it's no fancier than these two, but they charge you more for it.
So how about this? Let's switch over now. Let's shift gears, and let's talk about what I wanted to talk about originally was the hate or celebrate question, And when I look towards both the United States and the Philippines, I'm seeing a lot of more hate occurring. I don't know if it's because there's more opportunity to spread hate than there ever has been before, but why would it have an impact on such a sweet culture, such sweet people as Filipino people? That's one of the things because I've been getting also an equal amount as for many people that have sent me emails and messages saying how much they enjoy the panel and the conversation, stuff like that. I get a disturbing number of emails that want to, talk about nasty things, And so this is kind of troubled me a little bit. I've ignored it up until now.
The financial inequity is jealousy, and that can breed hate.
Well, also people, when you can hide behind anonymity, will say things they would never say to a person's face, or say when they know that person's going to know who they are, whether they know them or not. And
Wow,
besides,
Tobias, I'm sorry about that, Tobias, that happened to you.
remember
Hey,
also,
what is the
Dan,
requirement for being buried in a VA cemetery? Is that you have to pass in a VA hospital? I've never heard that.
I haven't heard that either. But anyway,
Yeah,
what I'm saying is, though, remember, Dan, you start getting more hate mail or hate comments, the more you make it because of out of jealousy.
yeah.
People are jealous
I
of
really do
your.
appreciate. I'll tell you what. I don't know if it's. I think Philly in the Philippines said something about it recently. He said that the level of people projecting that upon him has increased significantly.
Just
You know, of
remember
course.
what Taylor. Just remember the old Taylor Swift song. Haters gonna hate.
Yeah, I know. I know. I can take it. I suppose. I don't usually ban anybody for putting weird comments on my site. I may have removed one or two. I'll admit that, but nobody has really been banned. I don't think since I've
One
been.
thing I've heard about the Philippines is sometimes the Filipino men are jealous of the Americans because we show up with the money and the women just like cultivate to us.
Well, I want to say that that's true in some cases, but I think it's a small percentage of the women that cultivate, uh, towards the American or the Western man because of the money. Uh, they, who was it? The Filipino P did a
Yeah,
did a thing on, and she was talking to some Filipino girls, and some of the girls prefer the Filipino men because of the way they treat them, the way they act. Uh, like they think the Filipino men are a little more romantic, where we're a little more pragmatic. Uh, in other words, the Filipino man will buy the girl flowers for no reason, but he just wanted to buy her flowers. And some of the girls find that very attractive, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now,
Well, my girlfriend has
Ben. Well, Ben Berry says the ability to type things online and feel like you've done something good rather than get off your butt and do something good in your community.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Ben's onto something that it's become a little bit too easy to voice your even negative thoughts and opinions online, and that could be a reason for it.
my Filipino girlfriend's got a deadbeat father
Well, that happens.
Oh,
I mean,
who's sifted with 2 kids.
dang!
and that's one of the things that
TMI.
that's one of the things that some Filipino women find attractive about the Western man, and it's a misconception there. I think that we're much more responsible. I think the older guy is more responsible, but if you get a younger guy in there, he's just as apt to be as irresponsible as a young Filipino. Get the girl pregnant and run, and he can run back to his own country.
Bring back the
That's what they
'60s,
gotta watch
baby.
out for.
You know, I'm pro bring back the '60s, Larry.
50s?
I don't know what you mean there, but
The free love movement.
Yeah, the 60s.
Yep.
Peace, love.
free love is fine, but you know, she's left with 2 children she can't feed and a father who don't care.
That's where you come in, brother.
I haven't even gotten to the Philippines yet, but
That's where you come in.
I'm still laying down what I can.
Yeah, Crystal's Adventure is saying it's all about the Philippines, Sir Tobias. Okay, Nicole and Stead family's here. Pacquiao Mertz is here. Pacquiao, we're gonna have to get together and come up with a program. You know, I need to add a couple of more days to my schedule to launch me into YouTube superstar. Hey, I noticed that Mertz is doing pretty good, you know, and so is Sess. Occasionally Sess will show up. She's doing very, very well integrating those channels. Actually, you know what? I'm pretty amazed, you know. Sess has kind of taught me a lesson by watching her channel, you know, by watching what she's doing with hers. So I have no desire to integrate Facebook with YouTube. She's
I
she
thought
has
about
been
doing my one YouTube channel with my YouTube channel with that one Facebook page. The one
yeah.
that's got Lazy Larry Lee. I thought
Uh-huh.
about integrating those two, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to find one of those. You know those books for dummies, Dan.
Yeah.
I need.
Yeah.
I found one about drones, so I got to read that. I bought it. Now I
Oh,
need to
good.
find one about doing YouTube, not YouTube, video editing for dummies. I have to see if I can
Oh,
find one of
great.
those.
Hey, that's great.
Well, I can
Uh,
tell you this: it's
I'm
easier
not
to
very good
video
at
edit
editing.
with Apple.
Huh?
Apple computers much easier to use
I'm sorry. I'm not
than
going to go out and
Microsoft.
buy a brand new computer. It's much cheaper to buy a book.
there you go. Start by fixing the car by checking the battery first.
Like I said,
Okay, so
all mine is Google or
Tim is saying don't become an ATM
Macintosh.
machine. Why not? You can't take it with you, Tim. I mean, honestly, I've had some interesting requests for help in the past couple months, and I kind of like being able to have the ability to help when I can. You know,
Me
as,
too.
as long as it's a totally legitimate kind of thing. You know, if I detect deception, then of course that's another thing. You know, but
I always want to
I
feel my
don't
money
think
good.
that cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. You know,
Dan
somebody's got to do it.
is an ATM machine. Don't let him lie to you.
Yeah, I love it. I love that cha-ching. I love the sound it makes.
You ready for
Uh,
this one, Dan?
No, I like the one-armed bandits, not the
Larry will
ATM.
like this one. Trust but
Yeah.
verify. Ronald Reagan. You
I
like
didn't
that?
have a problem with Ronnie.
Oh,
The only thing that pissed me off about Ronnie was smart. Ronnie
Well,
was very
trust but
smart.
verify. If I send money, I want to know what I did.
Hey,
I'll
Ronald
remember
Reagan,
now,
when he was governor of California, when he was governor of California, in order to balance the budget, he got the federal government to pay more of a share for social service programs. Then, when he was president, he shifted it back to the state of California. He was a genius. He was absolutely a genius.
Now, what did they call Ronald Reagan? He had a nickname.
What do they call him?
The Great Communicator.
The great communicator, exactly.
Yeah, they said he used his acting abilities well, even though he was a poor actor. It served him well as a politician. Well, that's what they claimed.
At the very best, he was a B actor.
Yeah, he was a B
Yeah.
actor. He was never.
Oh, Xanax. It keeps you calm and prevents panic attacks and anxiety. Well, that's what I use alcohol for.
And it's legal.
Yeah. I don't know if you can get Xanax here. I would imagine you can.
No, Crystal said no.
She said no. Well, you just grow mushrooms like everybody else.
Ghost Spice.
Well, she says it can't be bought over the counter at least. Maybe you can get a prescription for it.
Well, it all depends on who you know, Mr. Man. Sedatives just like that can't be bought over the counter. Oh yeah. Bring back the good old days. That's what I'd like to see.
When I was in Taiwan, I could walk up to any pharmacy and get whatever I want. When I was in the Navy, you just walk up to the pharmacy. This is what I want, and they'd sell it to you. Same thing in
Quaaludes
Mexico.
were great.
Yeah,
Remember that?
they prescribe it, I believe.
Well,
Dan, remember Quaaludes?
Yeah, I sure do. Party on.
now I'm going to tell you a drink that is illegal in the United States.
No. Ben, you're killing me over here.
It's legal in Japan, and the military ended up outlawing it. When you were in Japan, you couldn't drink it. When I was
He's
there,
pointing out.
Have you ever
Ben's
heard
pointing out that Reagan had a pet monkey. Enough said. You certainly belong here in this group. That's for sure.
I got a pet monkey. Want to see it?
No, thank you.
No
Keep your
spanking the
monkey in your
No
shorts.
spanking
Keep
the
your monkey in your shorts. By the way, all this talk here today on Dan's live stream is nothing but useless opinion and conjecture. None of it is to be taken seriously. I must let you know, give you the disclaimer that it's for entertainment purposes only. You must be over 18 in order to be in the live.
Now, by the way, like I said, in Japan, they had a drink called anisette. Now, we call it absence of memory, absence of feelings. It was 10% liquid opium base.
That's Ouzo, Larry.
No. In Japan, that Ouzo is in Greece. Japan, it's called anisette.
It tastes the same.
I couldn't tell you. I never drank Ouzo.
Hey, Tobias, you need to run for office.
Anisette, or are you thinking of or Ansett?
What's the two different names?
There's one called Absinthe.
Absence, yeah.
Oh.
Absence of memory, absence
Hey.
of feelings.
No,
Ben is saying he tried a lot of things, but he's out when we start talking gerbils. He said no Richard Gere treatment for him. He's out.
But like I said,
Ouzo tastes like Anisette, except it's got opium in it.
anisette in Japan has 10% liquid opium base. It was
Then they got
strictly
absinthe.
When I was there, absinthe, whatever it's called. When I was there, it was legal. And then later on, they made it illegal for a sailor to drink it when he's off the ship. But we used to drink it back in the 70s, early to mid 70s, and it was legal. And then later on, I heard that they outlawed it and they could no longer
Yeah,
drink
something's ringing a bell. I'm not sure exactly what. Ben's trying to chime in here, trying to give us a guess. Absinthe. What?
Absinthe.
Sounds like I'm listening.
Liquor that they mix with water.
Well, we used to
Say la 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 Larry 3 times real fast.
La 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 Larry, la 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 Larry, la la Larry. 10% liquid opium drink in the Japan.
He's saying he has major panic attacks, and so he needs the calming down. Listen, do what I do. You just go over to the pet store and you get whatever you need over there. Yeah. Except don't be surprised if you start barking. No prescription needed.
And don't get no ketamine.
There you go. There's more than one way to skin a cat and get your needs taken care of. What did I just say? Forget the skin a cat thing, okay? I didn't mean to say that. My
cats just all ran unhid.
Oh,
that was bad.
It burned, Barry. I guarantee you that. It did burn. I used to chase it with beer.
Oh, Ben is saying it was popular during the Enlightenment period. Tim says, my old migraine medicine was not sold in 10 milligram doses, only 2.5 at 250 pesos per pill. So one dose was 1,000 pesos. I needed 2 doses for my migraine. That's horrible. Absinthe. Tastes like drain cleaner. All right, well, I'm used to the taste of drain cleaner. I don't want to trip. Just be relaxed and calm. There you go. Oh my gosh, Dan, do you have fleas? Is that yes?
Also, Crystal, he's got to have
I should wear a flea collar.
His doctor to show that those medicines are needed and they're prescribed to him. He's got to carry the prescription with him.
Yeah, it's allowed, but you have to carry the prescription with you. I think that's what Crystals is saying. You can carry the drugs with you, but you have to have your prescription with you.
You got to have your prescription with you.
Yeah.
You got to show that the doctor prescribed it.
You have to actually put that into a computer, and then it'll spit out the answer for you. There might be 1 or 2 that aren't allowed, but the blue pill is not one of them.
I've
All
never
right, so
done one
anyway.
of them little blue pills.
I hope that Leonard
Taking
is.
the white pills, my eyes
I
are
hope
open
Leonard's doing
wide.
okay because he's still showing. He's showing blue. He's showing online in Messenger, but no one can get a hold of him.
Right, that's what I've been seeing.
Yeah,
He might
that's
be in the
horrible,
hospital.
man. I am really worried about him now. I'm really starting to worry. Man, that's terrible. I didn't know that something may have happened to
I
him.
sent him
God,
a half a dozen messages. I can't get a hold of him.
how do we find out? How do we find out?
I
Who
don't know.
knows, Leonard? Who's close enough to know that they have a cell phone number?
I don't have it.
I don't either.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, guys, it's that time of the chat where we have to select a 100 peso winner. And I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to do because so many deserving folks showed up and put up with our shenanigans.
I have a big announcement, too.
All right, what's your big announcement?
I don't want to interrupt Dan's little winner thing. I do have a big announcement, though.
We're waiting.
I got
We're
a
waiting on you.
I got something that is a museum quality piece for sale 2 days ago.
What is it?
I have a 1928 Honus Wagner and Pittsburgh Pirates autographed baseball. For
How
sale.
in the heck did you get a hold of that?
Through a friend of a friend.
You didn't pick that up in the Field of Dreams, did you?
No, but I truly have it. And it's for sale.
Not to me. I'm not a collector.
It's for sale for $8,500.
All right, guys.
And it's all legit. It's signed, and it's signed in quill pen.
Okay, Larry, I think you're up for selecting
All right, I'll go
who's
with
the
Gurley.
winner.
I'll go with Gurley.
Okay, Gurley.
I don't think she's won late here recently.
Gurley, Larry says you're today's winner. 100 pesos set straight to your GCash for coming in and putting up with our chat. We could yell and scream at each other, can't we? But in the end, we're all friends here.
That's right. We are.
Yeah, so we don't hate, we celebrate, and I think we need to start sending prayers
for our friend
to
Leonard Lund.
Leonard Lund, because we don't know what's going on. We don't know if he's okay or what's going on. If somebody in the chat knows, please message us so that we know he's okay.
I talked to him, I guess, 8 o'clock the other night. 7:30,
are you still
8
in the
o'clock.
chat?
I think it's been like 3 days, hasn't it, Larry?
It was Tuesday night. He messaged me back.
We saw him. We talked. He was in the chat with us.
I sent him to you.
I left early on Tuesday because I was staying at a friend's place.
I told him the dam was on.
Wednesday night.
He said he fell, he couldn't get up, and things weren't good.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible. That is absolutely horrible. Well, I'm praying for him. I'm hoping that everything is all right. It could happen to any one of us, that's for sure.
Oh, yes, it could. I had some situation Monday.
So what do you think that baseball is worth, by the way? What do you think that ball is worth?
At the right place, $12,000.
Holy crap. That'll buy a lot of rice.
My friend wants to sell it and come to the Philippines. And if I can sell it, it could be my plane ticket.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That could be your plane ticket
well,
you
I have people in the memorabilia business in the city of Philadelphia. I blew him off his desk when I told him it was worth over $7,000.
We do too, Crystal. Crystal says, hope Sir Leonard Lund is okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
we're
we know.
We're scared.
He's in radio silence right now. Everybody's worried about him. So, okay, everybody. With that, let's go to Larry, but not before I thank everybody for being here in the stream and pushing my stuff out there and giving me the looks that I need to grow.
I want to walk like a dinosaur.
I thought that was so funny.
I know.
Yeah, that was kind of goofy. I don't know where we get all kinds of ideas. We just
got one for it.
Go in and see. Hey, I tell you what. Go in and see Crystal's Chicken Eats Burger. That thing is. Yeah.
I
got one for the dinosaur for you, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could put a little condom on top of it and say "Walk like an erection."
Oh well, there you go. Did you have to go there?
Oh, come on! It would be funny.
We almost got out of this live stream.
Oh, you knew you weren't getting out of here. Come on, Dan. Now, Dan, do you have Girlie's?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
I do.
She just said YouTube, so.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and.
You won the $100. 100 peso.
Yeah. Go ahead and get us out. Go ahead and get us out of here, Larry.
All right, everybody. Remember to be kind to each other. If you can, make my live stream tomorrow with Dan and hopefully Big Mac Daddy here again. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And as always, try to have fun.
All right. See everybody tomorrow on Larry's live stream. Bye-bye.
Good evening.
Bye.
We are out.